The worst person in esports, apparently.
Right, I could do 100 disclaimers at the start of today's topic. It's Saudi, LGBT, a woman in esports, but I'm just going to trust you lot to know how to behave in the comments. We covered the Dante's Loro situation, and the comments were...
Look, I don't know if Jinro could ever... Like, what? The worst person in esports? Like, bro, we literally just had some dude murder another guy. Like didn't some Korean, some former LCK player just murder somebody? Like, I think he's probably the worst person in esports.
Fairly respectful. I don't want anything negative about women in esports. We've got Shox, we've got Emily Rand. I want to purely focus on the Saudi morals debate, and let's just have a good open talk.
Like, dude, there's a lot of really bad people in esports. Did he stutter? Okay, my bad. I'll watch the video, bro.
What's happened? Right, so the Saudi Esports Cup. Oh, I love it because it is exposing...
It's actually called the Esports World Championship. Let's get it right. Come on.
Those who have morals to get attention and to come across as this morally superior person, and those people who actually have morals. So on screen now, the talent got announced for the Saudi esports events, and it's pretty much the LCK gang with a couple of exceptions, but we've got some people that 100% should not be there. Completely virtue signaling hypocrites. People are hating on everyone who's taking part,
that's literally the whole thing, right? Like, that is literally the whole thing. Just don't be a hypocrite and it'll be fine.
But I think there's a massive difference between two of the people and the rest of the people going there. And by the way, this is, I cannot stress this enough, this is a optional event. Dash, obviously, GOAT host, has literally turned this down for what he says is quite a lot of money. And I think he's unemployed at the minute. Like, you can turn this money down. So,
this is really... I've seen a lot of people throwing this out. Okay, let's be clear about something. Dash was the highest paid caster in all of esports. He owns a house in LA. Like, he is doing much better financially, even though he's been unemployed for 6-7 months than everyone else going, okay? Like we need to get this clear. It's good that Dash stood on his business, had his morals, and didn't go. But he is not in the same, like, trying to phrase it as like he's unemployed, like he needs the cash maybe more than these other guys. Like, that is just not how it works, bro. Like, this guy had a very fruitful career for years, and he was the highest paid person in esports. So it's like if I choose not to go to something as a streamer, and then like I've like been somebody for like a long time, even if somebody like Nikic or Hums becomes like, you know, like more popular than me in the intermediate, being like, oh, and like Dom has a smaller streaming career and he chose not to go, and like, you know, like, and Nikic did show. It's like these people are new, they're up and coming, they're just getting into things now, and they haven't built the base that Dash has built. Like, it's just like it's like, I really don't like when I start out a video and somebody is kind of just lying, like, or just they're misrepresenting what the situation is, because it feels like I'm going to have, because like I agree that you shouldn't be hypocritical. I agree with the overall premise of this video, that if you're speaking out against LGBTQ plus, or speaking out for LGBTQ plus, you shouldn't be doing something that's anti-LGBTQ. I agree with that premise. But to like start out the video and like be doing half truths, it just makes me feel like you're a liar. You know, it just makes me feel like you're a liar.
Let's set this up before we get to the worst offender. Let's do the second worst offender, Joshua Joshy Josh. Here's his tweet going hard at Team Liquid about their morals. It goes, to say that the Saudis are making a real change is laughable. To say that you're going to lose your voice by boycotting is also ridiculous. Esports winter is harsh and teams need money. Esports continues to show poor monetization from fans. Don't pretend you're making a moral choice by going. So very important here, we've got the classic, they're only in it for the money. Who cares about the money? I wouldn't do it for the money. And this would...
That's not actually what he said, though. To be fair, like, that is not actually what he said. The appearance is a moral, like, is being on a moral, like, grandstanding approach. But there is nothing wrong with, like logically, there's not a contradiction. And I feel like people are missing this. If I say... Like, if I do something for money and then somebody else does the same thing and I'm like, yo, you're only doing this for money, that's not actually me contradicting myself.
It was on June 10th of 2024. It took 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks late. I cannot get over this. 14 days later, he's announcing he's going to Saudi. I cannot believe these people.
This seems really bad. Okay, like, you don't need to make it seem so much worse than it is to just drive the point home. Like, the thing is that the problem is the underlying, the like subtext there, where he's kind of like making himself appear more moral, but he's not. Like, if he was clear in that tweet, he's like, look, I would go for the money, but just say that it's for the money and don't say that it's because you're actually making a change and you're not like doing the morally correct thing by going. That's where, like, that's number one. And then this part, like, about saying mental health meant that you had to do so. It's like, no, mental health doesn't mean you have to do so. That is the part that I have the biggest problem with. I feel like people use mental health as such a shield these days, where they just say like mental health. Like, if I just like did something really like up and then I'm like, guys, my mental health is bad, it's somehow a way that you can't criticize me because I've used that term, and you can never quantify how bad somebody's mental health is. It's really hard to like diagnose, and it's just very hard to know what's going on in somebody else's head. So you say mental health and suddenly everyone has to back off. They're like, oh, mental health. Like, I guess you had to do so. Like, I refuse to it's like, dude, what about the mental health of the people who have lost their lives in Saudi? Like, what about their how good is their mental health, bro? Like, what? You have people like imprisoned for tweets and shit. Like, come on. You can't just use mental health as an excuse for going. If you go, you're going for money. And just by saying, look, I'm not saying I will never, that my morals are so insane I'll never work for Saudi. If we get to the point where like easily right now I can reject like the EWC stuff, right? If we get to the point where it's like MSI and like LEC finals and everything is being held in Saudi and everyone else is fucking doing it, I'm not saying I would never do anything with Saudi. My morals are not like so ironclad that I'm going to give up my entire fucking career. Like, I'm just not going to do that shit. Probably. I mean, that's what I think right now. Maybe I'll be in a different headspace there and there'll be other factors, but that's what I think. I think I would probably end up doing stuff for money and working with like not most desirable people if I needed to. It's just like, I wouldn't tell you it's for mental health. Like, I would say I'm doing this shit for money.
Where do we find them? Genuinely. So the official announcement is not out yet, but I wanted to let everyone know I'll be on the Esports World Cup. Frankly, my mental health has meant I need to do this. I won't pretend it's not a selfish thing to go, so I'll be donating a portion of my earnings to charity after.
And this is also bullshit from Joshi. You don't just like take money from like the KKK and then just like give it to like some black people and then be like, guys, who's to say like I kind of just did an equal good here, and you know, like I benefited, but like it's kind of a neutral thing that I did. Like, you can't just do that shit. Like, that is just not how this thing works. Like, you didn't like absolve yourself of the guilt of taking it. It's just like some weird virtue signal and people are supposed to accept it. Like, it's so weird to do this. It's like, bro, I thought the whole point of you doing it was for money. I thought you were like compromising your morals for the money. So don't you want the money? Like, the point is supposed to be the money.
I cannot overstate the 2 weeks. It's crazy. He's going to Saudi, taking the money, using mental health as an excuse. It's disgusting. Like, I don't want to say he doesn't have it right, because we don't know, but it gives mental health a bad name because you're using... I
still think it's wild how Americans grandstand on morality about other countries when US still does the most. This is so boring to reiterate this. We'll say it one more time. The problem is that the US government is not the ones directly sponsoring things that happen within the US. If the Air Force was putting on the LCS, if the LCS was directly sponsored by the Air Force, it would be a much different discussion than if a company that works within the United States, Riot Games, is creating the LCS.
Using it as an excuse. It's just ridiculous to say you need the money, but then you're going to donate the money. So why are you even going out there? The figure I'm seeing going around is around 20k for the event. So very good amount of money for a few days work. But like, I just can't get the tweet. He wants to be this good, virtuous, moral guy, but he also wants the money at the same time. It's one or the other. You either have morals or you don't. Everyone is going for the bag. Everyone on that casters list is going for the bag. It's known. Casters don't get paid that much. I can at least see a half point of it of like, right, I am struggling for money, 20k's falling into my lap, right? This guy's struggling for money. He is a NA Academy caster, I believe, okay? So he won't be getting paid a lot, and he lives in LA, very expensive, okay? This is where the worst offender is.
What do you mean you believe, bro? You couldn't just go to his, like, how much work does this guy put in his video? Like, he believes? Okay.
And this is why I actually think it's completely unacceptable she's going.
Can't you just do this?
I think...
Like, you didn't just do this? Joshi, caster, where does he work? Known for Casting Academy. And then you just look at like what he's casted before. It's like, wait, so he is just like an NACL caster. Like, I don't know.
I think that's how you pronounce it. If not, who cares? Right. So, Jinro, every caster is going there for the bag. Turn up, do the job, go home. Disagree or agree. Fair enough, right? Why is Jinro different? Well, she started Fake Gamer. Let me read her tweet. I started Fake Gamer as an initiative for women, children, people of colour, and LGBTQ+.
Well, I didn't even know she does this. Wait, so she has a, like, what is Fake Gamer? Is it like a company? What is Fake Gamer?
Minorities within the esports scene after my own horrific experiences. Every single week, more stories come out, and I feel more helpless and disgusted with the state of the scene. I'm so sorry. Like, don't get me wrong, right? This initial tweet...
I believe a lot of times. Yes, I say I believe when I don't know something for a fact. When something is a fact, I just say what it is. I believe means that I'm not like 100% sure, but this is what I think.
Can be absolutely fair. I'm sure Shox has talked about it like a little bit, how like she's mistreated in the industry before. I can 100% believe it's a struggle. But to then go to Saudi, where like, think how many LGBTQ...
This is super hypocritical. Like, what, has she responded to this at all? I guess you can't really respond, right? You can't really respond. I mean, what people say is like she's from like the Middle East region, so that's why like she should be working on it. But it's like, I just don't know how both these two things could exist. Like, this just seems like complete hypocritical contradiction. But does this make her the worst person in esports? Like, look, we got murderers in esports. We have like people that have done sexual assault. We have pedophiles in esports. Like, I don't think this makes her the worst person in esports, but I think this is a big fucking contradiction, and that she shouldn't have done this shit. She shouldn't have accepted the bag here.
Few people that are in esports right now, and they would. I mean, I can't say it on
just
YouTube,
being a fucking hypocrite.
But we know what happens if you're open in Saudi, right? I'm speechless. I'm actually speechless. So she's so disgusted with the scene. She wants to help people. She wants all the credit of being like this big, like, I'm speaking out against the industry. I want to support minorities. I want to support pride. All that, right? So disgusted. She's going to go to Saudi to sports wash state. They're out there for money, right? Everyone going is for money. Joshua Josh is going out there because he needs it for money, 100%. Okay? This is why she's different. Is this you on your own TikTok bragging about your 100k business?
The next year 25 and built a 6-figure business as a freelancer solely based on speaking English
yearly. So you don't even need
one day you're 17, immigrating to the UK and getting told to apply for any unis because your English isn't good enough, and told you not to apply for any unis because your English isn't good enough. Wait, how?
Money.
Oh,
genuinely, right? If
the next year 20, what does this even mean? Like, am I just the next year 25? Am I supposed to be able to understand what this means? The next year 25 and built a 6-figure business as a freelancer solely based on speaking English?
You are. So I assume she lives in Berlin.
One day, wait, oh, he put these in the wrong order, right? It's supposed to be one day you're 17, the next, oh, okay. He put these in the wrong order. That's why it makes no sense. He should have put this tweet first. He put the after before the, dude, this guy sucks at making video. I'm gonna just say it, like, I agree that she's a hypocrite, but like the way that he did this is like, he didn't check a lot of things. Like the way that he started things was like very, like, it just seemed like like he was telling things from a very dishonest perspective, and then he has the after before the before, like 25 to 17
on your own TikTok bragging about your 100k business yearly. So you don't even need the money.
And then he's like going between them like over and over again.
Genuinely, right? If you are, so I assume she lives in Berlin because Yalisi is in Berlin. If you are in Berlin, under 25, earning 100k a year, you are in the top 1% of wealth. She is in the top 1% of wealth, so doesn't need the money, and is still just completely giving up her morals for a little bit more money. That for me is just completely unacceptable. And it honestly, it gets so much worse. But let's pause, right? Josh Strife, might have seen him on YouTube, always over my shorts, has a very good take of, you don't have morals until you have to give up something to keep or prove.
100%, yeah. It's actually true. The only time you can be a good person is when, like, it's easier to be a bad person.
Those morals, right?
World of Warcraft recently, and they said, hey, do you want to do a sponsored thing for the War Within, which is the new thing coming out? And I said, no, not really. I'm sure that it would be amazing to my career to be involved with that, and I'm sure they were offering a boatload of money to do it. In fact, the amount of zeros that were on the contract was quite impressive. And I just said, I don't think my audience want this. I have, for a long time, rallied against a lot of the choices that the industry has made. I've got some friends that have done this, which have really annoyed me. If you don't stand up for what you believe in, eventually you have to admit that you don't believe in it. If you say that you value something, and then someone comes along and offers you a lot of money to take a stance or to make content that effectively nullifies your statement saying that you value something, then what you actually mean is, I like this, but I would be willing to change my position for enough personal gain.
He's turned down
100%.
tens of thousands in
and so many people, like, I don't know, like, I mean, the thing is, a lot of the people that are rejecting it are not rejecting it because we're like so we have insane morals. It's just like it's not a decision. Like it's also something that comes with a lot of negative publicity. So like the idea that people that are in the same position that I'm in, that are just like, I'm not going to, like, they're making a whole thing about it. It's like, dude, you're like, this is not a choice for somebody like me. This is not like a hard choice. Like, I don't need the money. It's like a 5-day event. Like even if I did anything with it, it would be really bad on my brand. I'm cognizant of this. Like, it's really easy to look cool, and then people will be like, oh, big ups to them. I see it on fucking Reddit all the time. Oh, big ups to that guy, bro. Damn, bro, he's so moralist for taking. It's like, no, bro, come on. Like, it's such an easy decision if you're in my position, or you're in like I don't know, like Cagel's position or whatever, you know, like we're all chilling right now. It's a hard decision if you are making no fucking money. That's when it's hard.
Sponsorship money he doesn't agree with, and this is just like World of Warcraft sponsorship, not state-owned Saudi money. You cannot create fake gamers, you cannot stand on your high horse but fold the moment you have to back up those morals. At that point, you clearly don't give a about LGBT or women in the industry. You are doing it for some brownie points and attention. It's so
really
much
good
worse.
for you to be like everyone knows that it's really good to be, you know, pro. Well, it depends on which section you're in, but if you're in like the esports section, which is like definitely more like, you know, liberal side of everything, it's better to just be like, everyone knows that it's good to be like pro LGBTQ, pro women's rights, pro, you know, like anti-abortion, for example, like all those things, like all the like leftist views are what you're supposed to do when you're in esports. Everyone knows this. So they'll just say all that stuff because everyone's like, so based, like, you know, it gets you all the points with everyone.
She doesn't need the money, right? Right now, based on income, she's rich. Credit where
or not anti-abortion, the removal of Roe v. Wade, not actual anti-abortion, like for abortion, but just like anti the removal of the like laws that, or the court case of Roe v. Wade.
Credit's due. She says she came from nothing.
You're supposed to be like, and if you say anything against that, like, you know, you're gonna get like flamed. You're supposed to be for abortion, anti the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court case decision.
The UK at 16, not speaking English. Incredible backstory. Like, not many people can get to 100k a year business, and let alone coming to a foreign country and not speaking. Credit where credit's due, right? Pat yourself on the back for that, but you are in the top 1% of wealth. So let's have a look at how.
I don't actually believe that. Like, I don't know. I just wouldn't assume. Like, obviously, people like making it seem like they have it better than they are. I would assume that Jinro does not make really insane money. Like, I would assume that she was overselling that because, I mean, look, a lot of people, they'll do things like they'll get contracts for like a month, and maybe they'll make like 10k in a month or like 9k in a month, and they will be like on the trajectory. If they got that same type of work every single month, they would be on the trajectory of making like 6 figures or 100k a year, but they are not actually making 100k a year. So I feel like that was just her overselling how much money she has, because she like signed contract for a few months with the LEC. But the thing is, when you're working in this industry, everything is cyclical, right? So you only have a few months where you are working on the LEC, and then you have like a lot of time to fill, and it's very hard to get like jobs during that period unless you're going to Worlds and doing all this other stuff. So I feel like a lot of people, I don't actually believe, like, he's just taking it at face value that, oh, she said this, so it must be true. Like, I just don't think that she's like making a ton of money, and it's like and she has like so much money, and she's just even greedier and she wants even more, even though that's what she said.
How much?
Do I think she's in the top % of earners in Berlin? I wouldn't think so.
Money is going to actually.
Also, it's like she says like her company, I think, what was the phrasing of it? Was it her company is making 100k? Because if your company has like 100k in revenue, it obviously doesn't have anything to do with like profit. It's a different thing.
Change her life, because she has to be taking the money for a reason, right? This is a optional event. She doesn't have to opt into this. A lot of people opt in. She is, at the first sign of being offered money, has thrown everything away and jumped on it. She couldn't have given her morals up sooner. Let's check her
Not sure about that, really. We can't know.
TikTok and do a bag money count, and the shoes as well. I don't even know about jewelry.
My bag collection as a 25-year-old who pays her own bills and doesn't come from money. The first bag that I ever got, it has like a bigger.
Whoa, this is not a good look.
So this is your bag here, yeah? £320. Okay, that's honestly not too bad.
That's not bad. For bags, bro, bags are expensive. Like, Dude, I'm telling you, bags are expensive.
This one was like once I had already graduated.
Oh, and then you've got this bag as well. That's 1,750. Okay.
Okay.
It's the Gucci Jackie.
And of course, we've got the Gucci Jackie for 2,560, sold out.
This is my most...
This bag's interesting. £2,220.
The classic.
Okay.
I mean, you got to have the Louis V, bro. Like, come on.
thinking of getting, specifically towards the end of last year, it's the Andiamo from Bottega.
And then we have a 3,410 bag.
Bottega Veneta as well.
Like a moment on TikTok, yes, I am very easily influenced. But then I saw it in this color. I saw it in red and I was like, yep, you're...
And then this bag is in blue, not red, but same difference, £945.
But also, like, if you're only, like, okay, she said her company was making like 100K a year. Honestly, this is probably why she needs the money. She probably spent all of her fucking money on bags. So, like, shit, bro. Like, now she has to go to Saudi. She has no option now.
Wallet, it's the pink one that they did this year on Valentine's Day. And then I have my Bottega card holder.
And then I guess when you've got so much money, your wallet might as well be £350 and you might as well have two of them. Like, honestly, I really don't mind how she goes and spends the money. She's earned it. It's up to her. 100% go for it. If you want to go and spend somebody's net worth on a load of handbags and shoes, but you have earned the money and can go and do it, knock yourself out. It's no different from a bloke going and spending 10 grand on Warhammer figures. Genuinely couldn't care less. But it's just so insulting when you clearly don't even need the money for Saudi. That's why your decision is so...
£350 wallet. My wallet was a gift. It's a Coach wallet. I have a pretty nice wallet. I have a pretty nice leather wallet, but I've had the same one for like 6 years. But I feel like having a nice wallet, I mean, it lasts longer and it's, I don't know. I don't feel bad about it.
So bad. It's not even the choice between standing up for them that you so adamantly believe in and paying this month's rent. Whereas that does kind of blur the lines. It's standing up for the minorities you believe in or buying another Gucci
Wallets
bag.
last for, yeah, if you get a nice wallet, bro, if you get a nice wallet, it can be like 10, 20 years with a wallet for easily. It's a good wallet is I think it's a good investment, bro. Like, obviously, if you like, it's not a good investment in terms of like, if you need money for like rent or food or something, but like, I don't feel bad. I don't think it's a bad purchase.
That's mind-blowing, by the way. It's the fact she doesn't need the money from an outside perspective. Genuinely, imagine you are in her fake gamer movement and the person who's leading it is
So what was that thing? Like, I wish that he expanded more about like what fake gamer, or what was it called? Fake gamer? What was fake gamer? Is that something that's still ongoing? Is that like a one-time post? Was she like running a organization that's like pro LGBTQ and then also take, like, I wish I knew more about what fake gamer was and I didn't just see one tweet. I feel like that's such a good way to make the video, you know?
Teaching about it, inspiring you, standing up for minorities, takes the Saudi money while you watch her on TikTok brag about her like 20 grand handbag and shoe collection. The worst bit is, all the EU casters turned it down, all the NA casters turned it down, but Saudi Esports, let's face it, is inevitable. In a year or two, there are going to be more events there. It might even be based over there. She can go out there and be like, look, in like 2 years' time.
It could potentially be based over there.
And say, look, I have very strong beliefs in these morals, but my career is now in Saudi. I don't agree with how Saudi treats everyone, but it's my career. I just have to go out there. That's fair enough. Footballers do it. Boxers do it. F1 drivers do it. Esports is no different. But to be... This is the main crux of the issue. To be the first one out there taking that... practically begging for that Saudi money. You couldn't have left your morals any faster if she tried. I mean, I 100%, she's 100% being hypocritical by taking it. I just wish, like, the way you make this video is you show all the other, like, is there other tweets? Is it just like, what is fake gamer? Like, he didn't really go into it at all. He's like, she started fake gamer and has these morals and now she's like going against them. But like, how much of that is like, is that something that she's like actively doing? Is that something that she just did one time? Was that an event? Is that like a company? Like, I just don't know what it is. It's like, it just feels like that's such an important part to like know, like how much, because what you want to do is you want to show like how hard she was on the side of LGBTQ plus, and then show how much of like, how much of a hypocrite she is by now taking this as the first thing. But it's like, the way that this video is made, it's like they just showed one tweet like that. That's just the most important part of the video that we're just missing. He cares more about her bags than actual hypocrisy. That's kind of how it feels. Like, one time she said something about pride in a tweet, then yeah,
that's exactly what it is. Like, we just need to know more about that. I don't know. Like, she could be like an even bigger hypocrite than this, but that would just make for a better video, right? If you just paint her out, if you show 15 tweets of that stuff and you show the company that she started and her position within the company and like her at an event with a bunch of like LGBTQ people, like, you know, talking to them and pretending that she like really cares, but in reality she doesn't, and she's taking the Saudi bag. Like, that's like the whole video that I feel like we're missing here.
It's very easy for me.
This doesn't make her look, this makes her just look, it's like, oh yeah, she's a hypocrite. Like, that's how it feels. But like, you could make it look so much worse. If you're trying to paint her out to be the worst person in esports, like worse than murderers, like, I mean, obviously it's clickbait, but like, you get the point. If you're trying to make her out to be so bad, there's like, it's like a way better way to do this if she really is that much of a hypocrite.
Say when I'm not being offered the money, I would 100% take it, by the way. But to be like the first ones out there, even though I'm not preaching,
and also like her being the first one out there, I mean, she's like one of the lowest tier LEC people right now, right? Like, she's like, okay, so it's like, if you look at like people that are doing interviews and people that are working on the desk, it's like Shox is like the number one like host interview person. The second one is like Laura. It's like Shox and Laura are the keys. And then like on days where Shox or Laura isn't there, that's when Janiro comes in. She's not a caster. Like, she's one of the people that like you would expect that somebody like Janiro would be the first one to take it. It'd be like somebody that's on the broadcast very, very infrequently. Like, I'm not saying that like Nightmare or Jamada should take it, but it'd be like one of those guys who's on the broadcast every now and then. They're like a fill-in for like casters at times, but they're not a core part of the broadcast.
Out like rights online, like I would genuinely be a bit questionable, like, is it worth it? But in her position, I can't get my head around about how quickly she accepted the money. Again, this is a optional event. If the LEC was out there for a week, I think it's very different. Like maybe a year. I think, look, your career's out there, you've got to go. You could have opted out. Everyone's opted out. James Dash, who is unemployed, has opted out.
It's such a bad argument, man. It's such a bad argument. Like, I completely agree she's a hypocrite. Like, that's still, once again, but the James Dash thing, she has so much less money than Dash. Like, she's been way less paid in esports than Dash. Dash is so much more well established. He has a much easier job declining things than she does.
I got invited to host it. I got invited to host it. What's the Esports World Cup? It's basically a Saudi sports washing attempt in the esports world. They're like trying to create like a Esports World Cup / Olympics event, and it's happening in Saudi Arabia.
How do I know that? Because Dash has literally came up to me personally and told me he was the highest paid caster in esports, which everyone has confirmed. Everyone knew this, which is why, like, it's not like he wasn't good enough to cast LCS. Everyone knew that he was the number one guy because he was the fucking best. Everyone knows that Dash is the best. As soon as Dash wasn't on everything, everyone was like, what the f-? My mom was calling me and like, where's Dash? Like, Dash was the best, and everyone knows that he was paid like the best. That's what happens. When you're the best, you get paid like you're the best. It is what it is. Like, it is what it is. They're different. They're operating on two different levels here. All right, let's try to finish this video. Then I might get something to eat.
Arabia, rather. It's very, very... I didn't go for it, Mehraj. I turned it down. It was a lot of money. Money that I should have taken, given my position in life right now, but morally couldn't bring myself to do, so I did turn it down. It was not easy. It was not easy. Well, it was easy in the sense that it is my morals, but it was tough knowing how much money I was turning down. Because
I feel like if you're going to make this video, wouldn't you make it on Quickshot? Because Quickshot, I feel like, is in a better position than Janiro, considering how long he was in LEC and like how high of a place he had, and he did Worlds and all this stuff. And then he took the bag to go to Saudi.
And he kept coming back to me as going like, how much?
Pro time to rest.
Chronicler, when all the LCK guys has opted out, and he's got props for it on Twitter, by the way. You are getting paid in like, Chronicler is getting paid in like moral dues, like fair play. It's when she's on 100k a year and she's being offered 20k for this, right? So to put it into perspective, if a person's
I don't think she's on 100k a year.
20k a year, that's quite tight, right? You might need the money, but the equivalent amount being offered to them is 4k. Would you sell out your reputation and morals for 4k? Probably not. That's how 20k is equivalent to her. I think I've got my point hammered home about how I feel about her. Don't need to go anymore. Like,
if you made 20k a year, would you do something like this for 4k? Like, I think a lot of people would, no? Dude, he's making like a case for her. He's like low-key supporting her.
Her hosting's fine, it's good, she's done Rainbow Six, she's done League, nothing wrong with that at all. It's just the morals. So we're going to get back on to Joshi in a minute. I just wanted to show you a Don Jake tweet highlighting all the LCK casters' response, no preaching, focusing on League, and it split a lot of people. A lot of people are angry.
That's
with
the way
her.
to do it for sure, the way the LCK guys did it.
A lot of people then say also, look, go get the money, go get that bag.
Bro, if you're making $20K a year and you could do work for 4 days for $4,000, would you take it? Because that's the equivalent of what it is to her. People are like sitting there, they're like, yes, I would take it. Like, he broke it down in a way that made it like digestible for people. I mean, like, all right, okay.
A lot of throwing morals away comments. So again, it's not a random hate video. Everyone is getting criticised, but for me, her and Josh are 10 times worse for the hypocrisy. And this might be a personal thing, but it just instantly triggers me when I see someone do the complete opposite of everything they say they are, everything they say they believe in. Like, you simply aren't what you think you are at that point. To say you're all about
I just don't believe people when they say these things, bro. When people are really like, when they say the right thing, I just don't believe that they actually, like, it doesn't mean anything to me when I see that on social media, because everyone knows what you're supposed to say. Like, everyone knows what you are supposed to do, right? Like, or what the right thing is. So, like, I just don't actually care when somebody, like, virtue signals in that way.
To turn down 20K and prove it, that's the hard part, and they both failed at the first test. So on to Josh again. He wants his morals, credit, good guy card, but he also wants his money. And like I said, I hate the mental health card. It's so overused, give people with legitimate issues a bad name. I do feel for him, but look, if you're not making enough money as a NA Academy caster, I believe you. And living in LA is expensive, right? And it's so bad. It's
the thing that people don't want to talk about is, like, a lot of, like, the casters, they just show up, do their casting job, but they don't actually realize that part of their job is being a content creator, and like, you have to make people interested in the product that you are casting. And you've seen, like, I mean, you see with Casual, right? Like, he was a caster and he had a full-time streaming career while casting. You have time, you can do it. You need to try to create content around the league, because you just getting the bag from Riot for casting NACL is not going to be good enough, right? Like, the problem is that no one cares about NACL. How do you make people care about NACL? This is like the problem you're trying to solve.
Your mental health. I can honestly 100%, I feel for him. I can believe that, right? Go and get another career. Move somewhere cheaper if you can't handle it. I wanted to be a football player when I was younger. Many of you would have probably wanted to be a pro league player. It hasn't happened. It's not going to happen. That's fine. Move on. Don't just go and move to LA and moan.
No, I didn't move on. I just wanted to do it, and then I did it, and then now I still live off this video game.
About money, like, it is what it is. We can't all have great jobs. And then to say I'm donating money, like, bro, you're going there for the money. What's the point of donating it? Like, just don't go in the first place if that's good. Like, and I don't know, like, what donating to the Alzheimer's Society is going to do for, like, Saudi rights, but it is what it is. These two have definitely gotten the most backlash and criticism online, and it's because they want all the benefits of the Saudi money and none of the consequences. The LCK casters aren't on a high horse. They know what they're going for. Everyone else knows what they're going for.
Which was the right way to do it, 100%.
And they don't pretend it's anything else different. Again, this is just...
I mean, I don't necessarily think that... So in Janero's case, she didn't... Her problem is that she contradicted something she said earlier on, but she didn't actually make it seem like what she was doing was a good thing here. Like, she took the same approach. The only reason it's different for her is because what she said originally. So that's only about the Joshi guy.
Things going on with the Saudi Esports Cup, but we can't forget Riot Pride flags everywhere, preaching about how much they love Pride.
Yep. Team
Liquid the same. FlyQuest shifted responsibility for the Saudi tournament onto the players. That's disgusting.
That was really f***ed up. Agree. If you're a player, you have to go. Like, you don't actually have a choice.
Orgs are, like, so bad about it. All the companies do it. I just assume everyone knows at this point.
Are you going to just ruin your team? Let's say 4 out of the 5 people on your team want to go, and then you are like, okay, but like, because of my morals, I'm not going to go, and then they have to play with a sub, and then when they come back, the whole team is like looking at you as a fucking black sheep. Like, it's not, you can't not go if you're a player.
They don't actually care about it, and they're only doing it for money and to make money, and they're only doing it to look good and make money. Individually, I believe her and Josh actually care about the cause. They tweet about it, they do actually believe in it, but to take the Saudi money the second it's available, actions speak louder than words, and their actions clearly show they don't give a about it. That's my 2 cents. I'm on the side of fair play, go get the bag. Lewis Hamilton races in Saudi Arabia. He's very, like, pro LGBT. If your career is there, fair play. It's a really shit situation to be in. I just think they shouldn't have taken the money the second it was available. They should have waited 1 year, maybe 2 years, till they were almost forced to go out to Saudi. This is an opt-in event. They could have opted out. Don't let that get forgotten. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Try to purely focus on the action and the morals. Keep it civil in the comments. Controversial video, but I don't think I criticize them for anything they haven't opened themselves.
No, you just made a really like poor video, because like the whole idea of your video, like you needed to okay, as somebody who's a content creator, the argument you need to go in on, I said this earlier, is you need to really talk about this. Like all he said was like, look, she made a tweet about like fake gamer and how she like supported women and LGBTQ plus, and she's had a bunch of bad experiences, etc. The way you make this video is you explain what this is. I still don't know what this is, by the way. What is fake gamer? I actually don't know what fake gamer is. Like he didn't say what fake gamer was. I didn't just miss it, right? Let me listen to it again. The way you make this video is you explain what is fake gamer. Is this a, I don't know, like a podcast? Is this a like organization that helps people of color and LGBTQ plus and women in gaming? Like what is this? I actually have no idea what this is. And he just like goes over this, and then he's like, and she contradicted herself. But like the way you make this video is you show not just one tweet, you show like more the other time she tweeted about LGBTQ plus, or when she's tweeting out that podcast, or like you take clips from her podcast where she's like, you know, her first episode, if this is why she started this, she's probably going to say, hey, like, welcome to my podcast. This is why I'm making this podcast. I want to have a safe space for people of color and LGBTQ plus and women in esports. And I want to be able to share my experience. Like you take all this type of stuff and you show everything she's done to build up that side of her brand, and then you show the switch. But it was like just this tweet, like it wasn't enough. Like I don't know what it is. I still don't know what it is. Maybe it's not possible to find out what it is. Well, then that's like then she just like had a tweet that was like pro stuff that she went against, which is like not a huge like, oh my god, she's a massive hypocrite. It's like, oh, she's just a hypocrite like everyone else. Like you're trying to make her the worst person in esports, right? The bar is murderers, rapists, pedophiles. Like these are people that have been in esports, right? So if you're gonna then say that she is worse than those people, obviously it could be clickbait, whatever. You still want to make her seem as bad as possible, and you want to like show everything she's done to be a hypocrite. And it just didn't feel like it did this in the community. Also, let me read this one more time. The next, okay, so number one, he has this out of order. So he shows the TikToks out of order, so it didn't even make sense when I viewed it. But this is supposed to be like one day you're 17, the next you built a 6-figure business as a freelancer solely based on speaking English. Just because you built a 6-figure business does not mean that you make 6 figures.